Today on our How to Look virtual tour, we will be observing 3 paintings and 2 sculptures. Our objective is to see how the artist has created movement and mood in his or her artwork. We will begin with a well-known painting by John Steuart Curry called Tornado over Kansas. Many of us are familiar with this piece, but as you look at it this time, think about the mood Curry was trying to create. Do you sense the tense emotion created through the impending tornado, turbulent sky, and worried family? Curry here conveys an urgency of time. Will the family make it to safety? Fright can also be seen on the faces of the mother, the boy with the cat, and the young girl. Was Curry successful in creating mood? What about movement? Did you observe the circular movement being repeated several times, depicted in the clouds, the grass, outlining the family, the circular formation of the running horses, and the tornado itself? With the use of bright colors being repeated in the mother's dress, father's handkerchief, the chicken, the wagon wheels, and the toy in the foreground, Curry has created more movement as the viewer's eye bounces from one to the next, taking in the whole scene. We will come back to Curry's Tornado a little later in the tour, but now let's move on to Game Bus. Game Bus is a piece by Kadir Nelson. It is a narrative painting in the sense that it tells a story. The story here is taken from Nelson's book, We Are the Ship, the story of the Negro Baseball League. Ships, in this case the bus, symbolize security or a type of home where the players sometimes ate and or slept. The bus became home base off the field. What mood does Nelson create in this piece, and how is it done? The figures seem to be bathed in light, bringing a sense of happiness. Sparkling bright colors make even the shadows glow. Nelson has put smiles on faces, and there is a sense of a summer's day. There are no harsh lines appearing, only the curving lines of the face, hats, and even the roof of the bus. These curving lines are repeated throughout the painting. How does Nelson convey the sense of movement? Did you notice that the gesturing hand is centered? Nelson placed it there to draw the viewer in. Then he places faces to encircle the gesturing hand. Most of the faces are looking inward toward the hand. Just a few are turned away. These few bring the eye out from the center, but the arrangement of the faces brings you back in. Just as Curry used repeating circles and color in his piece, Nelson uses the repetition of figures, the hats, and the color tones to add the feeling of movement. So far, our tour has included 2 artists who have used placement of objects and the use of color to show movement and mood. Keep that in mind as we move on to our next artist. Our next piece is titled Aprius Midi, one of Huey Lee Smith's longest canvases. He is known for painting beach and waterfront scenes as this one depicts. But we are here to look for movement and mood. So, is this an uplifting painting or an oppressive one? What makes you think so? This painting, with its afternoon sun and sky, may suggest a new hope of comfort and joy. The solitary figure in the painting is showing free movement in the waving of the blanket. She is overcoming the boundaries of the water and man-made objects. So the tone/mood may be lonely, not oppressive, but could be uplifting. Yet, despite the atmosphere of a sun-drenched afternoon, the overall tone and mood is one of sobriety, quiet, or elusiveness. You have the remote stage-like setting of the sparse landscape, the water, shoreline, and man-made objects, a singular figure suggesting alienation and loneliness moving out of the picture plane. Let me leave you with 2 questions as we move on. What do you think about this piece by Huey Lee Smith? And how does it make you feel? Our fourth piece is a sculpture made of bronze with a marble base entitled Fastball by Albert Wine. He was once quoted as saying, "Sculpture should be stripped down to only what is necessary to convey the essence of the composition." And that composition is what really mattered in an artistic work. Do you see that in Fastball? Simple, with no real detail. You have the glove, hat, shoes, and uniform. You know each are there. The title alone, Fastball, describes motion and movement. Then you have the angular lines of the picture leaning back with his arms stretched behind him holding the ball. And notice the front of his left shoe just rising off the ground as he begins to step into his pitch. Let's compare this to the anticipation of movement of the father in Tornado. How is this movement conveyed? Observe the left foot of the father, the heel of the foot just lifted before he is about to make a move, shows urgency in the move. Both artists use the same idea to invoke a feeling of motion. Can you feel the mood of excitement as the pitcher releases the pitch? Will it be a ball or a strike? I guess we'll have to go to the game to get the answer. Our final piece today is another sculpture, one completed by Max Kalish, entitled Water Carrier. Kalish was a figurative sculptor best known for his works of American laborers. This piece is one of a series that he created after World War II. The series was based on what he remembered while working in a foundry in Cleveland. Whenever I see Water Carrier, I am always asking myself, is this the beginning of a work shift or the end? By the facial expression, the mood set by Kalish could be one of determination, either to continue with the day or to finish the day as soon as possible. It could also be that of exhaustion. See the strain of the muscles in the arms and the way his clothes cover him? Or that of loneliness, an isolated figure with a job to do. A great point of this piece is you get to decide. Do you recognize the movement implied? As in Fastball and Tornado, the lines are angular, not straight. Both the legs and arms are bent with angles pushing forward. Look at the feet. What do you see? A lifted heel of the right foot just as the weight of that bucket of water is about to move the carrier forward. The anticipation of that movement, water spilling on the floor as the bucket moves forward, makes this piece come alive. We have looked at 3 paintings and 2 sculptures today, and in each, our objective was to observe how artists create movement and mood in their artwork. Through discovery, we realized this can be accomplished with the use of color, the placement of figures or objects, repetition, and the use of lines and angles. Next time you are visiting any museum, see if you can determine the mood the artist has set and the movement they are trying to convey.